are live.
We have a live stream. And you get to hear all the sounds finally.
Yay!
All the few sounds. There you go. There you go.
Okay, that actually sounded like falling water until I realized it's a recording of clapping.
Took a moment.
Yeah.
It took a moment. It's not the best shape here. That one there is not the best applause clip I have. I've had better. I'm just glad that the sounds are now going all in the right directions for everything.
You know, you saying I've had better reminded me of the movie Liar Liar, the one scene where he said, I've had better.
Yeah, that's actually quite a funny scene.
It really is. Okay, I'm going to close all of my destruction noodles now. Destruction noodles closed. I am fully focused on this.
Fully focused on this. Well, it's fully focused time for some music, and then we get to the show.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
There we have it. So it must be time, eh?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 633, and we got plugins for blocking all emails, toggling and hiding and showing the admin bar, and lots of news coming up. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber overall.
And we got a great show for you today, and, bits and pieces about my new doggo, who's caused me to completely change my life around, which has caused me to have everything else be slightly out of whack. But, what the hell? Bring in a dog that's, mostly grown, it's like bringing in a full-grown toddler without having to go through all the baby stages. Alrighty, well, with all that being said, I suppose that's enough.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
It's so good to hear all the sounds again. I missed them.
Yes. Yes, you can hear all the sounds and get all the good giggles again.
Oh, I saw a post this morning somewhere. And it was a picture taken of this poster at an adoption agency. And it was a picture of a puppy, 0 to 4 months. And then from 4 months to 24 months, it was a picture of a T-Rex. And then 2+ years, it was a very polite looking dog.
Yes, that's about right. I got to skip the T-Rex stage where they chew everything under the sun. Although that big giant bone you gave him, he's almost completely gnawed off one end of it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He chew. I have to be careful. I've given him the soup bones you buy and make your soup. I gave him a couple of bones of those, thinking I can't destroy those. I turned around 10 minutes later and they were pulverized.
Well, I'm glad I could help with the bone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So welcome to Llamas in Space, the Woolly Frontier. It's episode 633. And we have some WordPress news and some other things. We've actually got some really good stuff in this show, news-wise. But something that I've been working towards is I'm only going to have really WordPress news in the every other week show. In order to find all the other news, you can go to our website and look at news for you. There you can actually see one of the pictures I took while we were experiencing the Northern Lights here on the island. It was pretty cool. But if you want to find all kinds of other news, you can go there and check it out. There's loads of news. I work on adding news all week long, and it comes out every week rather than every other week. So go there to find the other news. We've got a couple of great in-depth plugins to cover for you, and just some news in the WordPress world for now. Oh, and we're still looking for some suggestions from people out there who are any good with games. If you have any thoughts on creating the game that I've been mentioning the past couple of shows, a plugin battle royale, I've kind of got some guidelines rules-wise, but I haven't really fleshed it out yet, and I'm still coming up against a lot of barriers. If anybody has any experience at all in this, please reach out to me. I would love some suggestions. A couple of reminders before we get to the rest of the show today. Be sure to check out our newer thing called News for You. So I was just talking about with all the different kinds of news in there. You can find on our homepage right next to the latest podcast. And we also have the News for You vaults. I've added it in right beneath the A to Z podcast vaults. Our show starts at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time every other week on Monday. You can join us for a pre-stream entertainment. So it starts around about 12:15-ish. Doesn't always happen. Like today, we are cutting it kind of close. Life was getting in the way today, but normally we have something a little entertaining going on. And remember, this is a value for value show. You can help us out by hitting some like button, sharing an episode too, or, lovingly forcing your family members to listen to us by cranking the volume while we're playing. You can always do that too. And don't run away at the end. We've got some questions and answers coming up. Starts show with this week's featured artist.
There we go.
Yay, there it is. This was completed by Grok. We're regularly going to Grok for our art right now because, well, it's just funky.
It's truly funky, and it requires no effort on my part except to enter a few words or a couple of phrases. Like I asked him to create me a crazy image. This is what he created.
It's a crazy image.
Those were the words. I said, give me a crazy image. There's a rhinoceros rhinoceros in the background. I just noticed.
Well, are you sure you didn't mention Harry Potter or
Nope.
Halloween or?
No.
Okay.
No. But it
All
does.
right, well,
it does kind of look like Harry Potter on crack, though.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So anyway, and Grok came up with our title. So I'm gonna use Grok a lot. I mean, after all, I'm paying for him, so I may as well put him to the best use possible.
Expect some serious craziness.
Absolutely. All right. Well, here you go.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
So this is just a little taste of what we have coming out every Wednesday for everyone. Like as mentioned before, this is just WordPress news, really. So for this week, we are going to start with the WordPress vulnerability report. In this report, there are 64 vulnerabilities, and they're all plugins this time around. 45 have been patched so far. There are still 19 to go. So be sure to go and check it out, see what needs patching, what doesn't, all that jazz. We also have the WordPress vulnerability report from PatchStack. These guys always have the latest information on what's going on regarding the latest vulnerabilities. At the time of writing this, the most recent issue was login with phone number plugin, which that does still seem to be the top one. That was 11 hours ago now. So it is really good to go and check it out. Make sure that you have the best, most up-to-date information. Just so everybody knows, these both sorry, I scrolled too far down. The WordPress vulnerability report from Solid WP is the first one we always look at. That comes out on a weekly basis. So if you want to see that on a weekly basis, you can go and check out our Wednesday thing, which is news for you. Next up, we have WordPress 6.6.2 released with 26 bug fixes.
I thought you were going to do the security measures one first.
Oh, I totally skipped over that. My bad.
You did. I thought it might be important to call to your attention.
I was just making sure that you were paying attention. That's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sure.
So, starting October 21st, 2024, WordPress.org is rolling out new security measures aimed at enhancing the safety of accounts with commit access to plugins and themes. So, Automatic sponsor developer Dion Hulse is the bringer of this news to the wider world. WordPress.org will also be bringing in SVN passwords for committing changes to plugins and themes. This is meant to be a separate layer of security. So if you want to really learn more about what's going on and what they're really talking about here, you can check out the article in the show notes. And in the show notes, I also have a link to new security measures. It's all of the different measures that are going on, that are going to be released on October 1st. There's a lot going on. Lots is changing. I think what they're trying to do is they're just trying to make it so that there's less vulnerabilities available or able to be activated.
Yeah, pretty much. They're trying to make it so that the things are more secure, the accounts are more secure where people upload the plugins to WordPress.org.
Yeah. Hopefully it makes a difference. I mean, in my experience, it's not the account so much as the plugins themselves having accidental backdoors.
Or when a plugin's sold to a bad player.
That too. Yeah. Oh. Do go and check this out. You have until October 1st, but it's really not that far away. We're already halfway through September, so Go check it out. Next up, we have the WordPress 6.6.2 released with 26 bug fixes. So this was released on September 10th, and there were 15 bug fixes to the core and 11 to the block editor. Remember, this is just a short cycle maintenance release. WordPress 6.7 is scheduled to come hurling at us on November 12th, 2024. That's 2 days before my birthday, so I can kind of foresee what I'm going to be spending all my time doing on my birthday.
Yeah, well, you just let it wait. This version here, go ahead and get it updated because it's just a patch, basic one, usually pretty safe. But the 6.7, I would give it 2 or 3 weeks until all the other people that are in a hurry find all the bugs.
Yeah, but there's always that one who
Mm.
wants to be helpful until they update it.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Next up, we have WordPress 6.7 roadmap includes new default theme, APIs, and media enhancements. So speaking of the major release, here's a pretty good roadmap to give us an idea of what to expect. At least this is what everyone who is creating all of this is aiming for. So this is what they want to go. This is what they're expecting it to go. Hopefully it winds up landing where they expect and where they want to. The new default theme seems like a decent idea. From what I can tell, they're trying to go back to basics. Like they're trying to empty out things and make it a little lighter and easier to work with. So I hope it works out well. I really do. I hope it ends up working well. And
I'm hoping that our illustrious Grand Poobah Mullenweg keeps to the things he'd mentioned before, where he's gonna extend out the major releases instead of every 3 months, so we don't get them 4 times a year. Maybe we get them once or twice a year.
Twice a year, I could live with.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, 4 times a year can be a little rough, and they always seem to want to put one out. This year, at least, it's better. It's not in December. But I remember one year they did it like the week before Christmas.
Yeah, that was fun.
Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, and it broke a shit ton of sites. So they seem to have learned from that. They seem to have learned from that lesson. So
yeah, people got a little cranky.
Just a little. I was one of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I remember, the next one up is WordPress community team to close inactive meetup groups by September 16th, 2024. So for those who have sort of forgotten about their meetup groups out there, you might want to think about heading in and checking to see if there's actually any activity going on. And if your group is entirely inactive, I would recommend you go in, grab the contact info, and just close it down yourself.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't.
If they...
I was going to say, meetup groups have died off in WordPress. They've just gone by the way of the dodo. They got mostly killed during the COVIDian thing.
Hemdian asked, if updates are less often, doesn't that make them bigger and thus more problematic?
Yes and no. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, not really, because if the updates are less often, then that means that they're only going to be doing particular updates rather than doing updates on multiple large things. Hopefully it'll cause them to focus on specific big things.
What I'm hoping happens is they actually do more testing.
That too.
Yeah. You know, they've got more time to test. The same way Windows used to be, you could mostly depend on an update to actually work and not change things on you. Instead of now, they're forcing updates on you every 10, 15, 20 days. And,
it's scary.
And they keep breaking things, and then they got to go fix what they broke because it wasn't thoroughly tested. So that's what I'm hoping if they expand it out.
Speaking of Windows, how many other people woke up with this Copilot thing on their computer?
I still don't have it, but again, they can't do updates on me right now. I've got another month before they force it down my throat, whether I want it or not.
Yeah. Just a heads up for those who've managed to put off the update, you're probably going to wake up with the Copilot thing like I did. It's weird. It's like this little rainbow square up in the corner.
That would drive me batshit, staring at that.
But yeah, hopefully by them having more time in between, they'll actually have a bit more time to test. And because they have more time in between, maybe they'll end up laser focusing on the things that are actually causing issues, because they'll have a clearer idea of what is causing issues.
Yeah.
I'm on the bleeding edge of updates. My car windscreen gets splattered by all the bugs.
Yeah. And he already uninstalled Copilot.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can do that if you can put the time into figuring it out. I haven't put the time into it yet. It's just weird.
No, Grok has specific directions on how to do it.
You're right. Grok is so useful.
Yeah. Tells you exactly what to do. I thought it was kind of cool because I went and tossed it in there to see what he had to say.
Okay, so the next thing we have here is This is just kind of a fun thing I wanted to bring forward to everyone. So I wanted to bring it forward because the Minecraft movie, it upset my daughter so badly. She didn't stop talking about it for like 3 days. Everybody seems to hate the Minecraft movie. So a lot of the fan creators have stepped up to the plate and have started making their own version of at least the trailer. So as the movie comes out, I think we can expect to see a variety of fan-made movie versions, and I think it'll be great. Like the clips, were a couple of them aren't great, but there's quite a few here that are actually really good. So it's definitely worth checking out if you are as upset about the Minecraft video as my daughter was. I don't think I've seen her so angry in a long time. And then, of course, we got some extras, but all the extras are directly related to WordPress.
All righty then. Where we're going to go next? All right, it's time to talk about plugins. All right. First one I've got for you right off the bat. This is a very useful, relatively new plugin that I tripped across. And it'll save me having to dump a chunk of code into the WP config file from now on. When I'm building out a dev site where you want to turn off all email functionality from your WordPress website. Because if you're in dev mode, you don't need it sending you notifications or telling you it did this or did that. You know, all the little random emails you get from your WordPress install as the administrator. So this plugin here, just plug it in, turn it on, and it turns off all email functionality for the site. There is a chunk of code you can dump into the WP config file, but instead of having to go edit that, you can just add this plugin. Takes less time. Real simple, sweet, and works very, very well. Go check it out. Block all emails. It is a great little plugin to have for your development sites. And I give it a 5 dragon rating.
Nice. And I got the WordPress tips here.
WordPress tips.
I was so happy I get to hear the wee. I think that's my favorite sound. So we would love to hear some tidbit tips from some of our producers out there. What did you figure out by breaking something? Or what did you need to learn in order to help someone else who broke something? You can send these tidbits into me at amber@wppro.ca, and I'll put them in right here, and you can replace my oddball tip attempts. So today, whenever you find yourself falling into a slump, that is the perfect time to try something new. Go start a new project, or if you don't really have technical time for it, make the time to do something really cool to like go recreate one of your sites that needs fixing up. Or if you don't have time even to do that, go and like create a dev site of one of the other sites that you're working on and do something really cool in there. See what the coolest thing you could do is, because I'll bet you that when you first started in this industry, you were doing that all the time. You were making dev sites and you were just going haywire and putting in all the new stuff, all the creative stuff, trying all these really cool things on these dev sites because it's a dev site. If you break it, you just re-upload it. Re-upload the file that you originally used to make the dev site. Don't be worried about breaking that because that's what a dev site is for. If you're falling into a slump, find a site to create a dev of and go crazy. Go make it that really ugly, multicolored, sparkler, crazy font thing that you first made with your very first site all over again. Just try to make it as ugly as possible. Try to make it as cool as possible. Try the new stuff that is a bleeding edge and you know is not going to work very well, but try it anyway. Go nuts. Because by doing this, you're going to end up finding that you're going to find that fire within yourself again. You're going to stop hating where you are. You're going to get yourself out of that slump. And that's the real trick when you're falling into a slump, is finding a way to recreate that fire that you started out with. Because if you let that fire go out all the way and you don't make an effort to regain that fire that you started out with, you could lose it permanently. And then there's no point in you staying in this industry at all because there's nothing there anymore. You got to go find something else. So make the time, and you'll be happier for it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All righty. Well, let's move it along for you.
All right. So my plugin today is Toggle Hide Show Admin Bar by George Del Campo. I came across this little thing recently. It's a plugin just to hide your admin bar. Now, this may not seem like something worth bothering with at first, but when you're working on a site that has a lot of minute spacing bits up at the header area and you need to be able to see the whole thing, this can come in endlessly useful, because I've had a couple sites where I've been working on things that has very specific spacing I needed to get just right. And in order to understand how it was looking really truly, I had to either log out or go into a different browser and go look at it. And it was a whole thing. Whereas with this, you just click the toggle and hide it. It only saves a few minutes, but when you save a few minutes over the course of months, it winds up being days of time that you've now saved. So it works well. It is a light plugin. It plays well with others. I always test out these plugins on one of my more messed up sites. It's a dev site I have, and it has all these really sensitive plugins that don't really do well unless a new plugin plays well with others. So that's why I can say whether or not a plugin plays well with others or not. I set a site up specifically to deal with that. And this does play well. It's very light, very fast, works well. I really like it. And you can actually customize it too. When you go to the dashboard, you will see 4 options. You can choose whether to show the toggle on the left or right-hand side at the bottom of your screen. Always show it or have it only show on hover. You can choose the background and text color that best suits your site. It starts out with a black background and a white text. You can put the code for your preferred color or just choose a color option that's already there. So it's super customizable with the color spectrum. That's it. That's all it's there. There is one thing I found. It's not that big of an issue, but when you tell it to only show on hover on the right bottom part of your screen, it doesn't really condense very well. It's not very good out on the right side, only on the left side. But hopefully that isn't something that's really going to bother you. I didn't find it bothered me very much at all. And that is the only issue I was able to find with this plugin. Hopefully, George Del Campo, the creator, is listening. Otherwise, I'm going to be finding a way to shoot him a message and let him know this issue is going on. But other than that, this is a great plugin, totally free. I highly recommend that people give it a go. I rate this at 5 dragons.
Very cool. All right, well, let's move along.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
I missed that one too. So there are a lot of ways that you, as our producers, can utilize us as your tool to help yourself out and help us at the same time. Get a producership credit, do an interview, donate some time, and get your name up here, all kinds of things. You can look further into the producership credit options by going to our site, wppluginsatoz.com, and clicking on Time, Talent, or Treasure in our main menu. And we have some miscellaneous announcements. We do have the option of putting up anybody's announcements up here. So if any of our listeners out there have a WordCamp or something that they're going to go to, or they want to let us know about something that's happening in the WordPress world, let us know. We'll put it up here. Currently, we just have the next 5 WordCamps that are going on. And they are do_action Bopal on September 15th. WordCamp US, September 17 to 20. WordCamp Pontevedra Sobra, I can't even finish pronouncing it. And go to our show notes, check it out. That's on September 21st, 22nd. WordCamp Britannia, September 27th. And WordPress Diversity Day, Valencia, September 28th. You can check this out in our show notes. We also have the link to the centralwordcamp.org. And we have a link to the meetup for WordPress. Not sure how much is going on there, but always good to give it a go. And if you're interested in reaching out to us, you can send something through the snail mail system because we actually have a brick and mortar address there. Or you can send something to us through our virtual addresses as well. Today's plugins we covered were...
I covered up the block all emails by wpdoc.com. Stops all the outgoing emails from your WordPress site, compatible with PHP 5 to 8.3, and compatible with all emailing types of systems. I did forget to mention that. It not only blocks the WordPress default, but if you have something like WP Mail set up, it blocks that too. So, very useful plugin. And I gave it a 5 dragon rating.
And I covered Toggle Hide Show Admin Bar by George Del Campo. Easy to use, customizable, and it's nice and light. I rate this at 5 dragons.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
So if anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca. We may never sell my dad, but we can at least get some good conversation out of him. And some good information. It's amazing how much information is stuck up in that noggin of his.
Yeah, if only I could figure out how to access it like I do the hard drive on my computer.
Wouldn't that be great?
It would be. If I could just... See, I've got it all in there. The filing systems is kind of screwy.
So you just need to get like a thing inserted into your head so you can plug yourself in and then see your brain on the computer and do an exec code for a search function.
Yes, that would work too. Or just run a defragmenter on my brain, defrag all the files.
Yeah, if you defrag, things that are considered no good may be lost. So
well, there's always that possibility.
Okay, so first question, why do shortcodes slow down sites?
They do and they don't. The problem with shortcodes slowing down sites are, for example, themes that depend on shortcodes to create their displays. Because now they're calling not just a shortcode. What the shortcode does is it tells it to go back into the code to execute the code for whatever function you're trying to run. If you run too many shortcodes on one page, now it's having to go back into the database several times to get that information. So it's causing it to loop back for each bits and pieces, causing it, the more calls you go to the database, the slower it takes to load the site, which is why those shortcode heavily sites, once you put caching on them, it's no longer calling the shortcodes, it's calling up just the HTML. So
okay.
But that's why the shortcodes slow it down. Like if you use 1 or 2 shortcodes, no problem on a page. Easy peasy. But for example, I can't remember the theme that we really hate to rebuild from. It has the entire page is all shortcodes to display. And because it's having to call that stuff up so much, it slows the site down.
All right. Next question is, will it slow down your site if there are old shortcodes that don't actually do anything anymore?
No, because they're ignored. If the plugin, as soon as WordPress sees the shortcode, it reads it as text unless there's a function to follow it. It initially reads it and goes, "Look, I need a shortcode," and it goes, "Nothing here. Keep going."
Okay.
So it's kind of like when you turn off that one theme and all of a sudden the pages load like lightning, but it's all full of shortcode.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's all full of shortcode and you've got your text in between. You got your text, which is 1/4 of the page, and you got the other 3/4 is all the shortcode information. So It doesn't slow it down. Then, of course, there is the one function that is really great, a plugin for WordPress if you're trying to clean up something like that, as a plugin to hide your shortcodes that are unused so they don't actually get printed out when the page loads. So.
All right. I've got 2 more questions for after the closing credits.
All right. For those of you listening on the YouTube, stick around. We've got more questions coming. And for those of you listening on the downloads, well, you're going to have to go visit the YouTubes to check out these last 2 questions, which are often fun. Sometimes extends the show out quite a bit because we get into other discussions at a time. And hey, you're just missing out. Go check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, and have fun with it. All right. We're going to let our girl take us on out of here for those of you listening on the downloads in the podcast.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsatoz.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsatoz.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today. Alrighty then, back to the show.
Okay, so next question is, can old shortcodes that no longer do anything on your site be a security risk at all?
Unsure on that one. You might have actually found one that I don't have an answer to because I'd never dug into it. I don't believe
What?
so. I don't believe so because that's nothing I ever thought about because the old shortcodes don't go anywhere. They don't do anything, so I highly doubt it. But I suppose there's always
I finally stumped you totally by accident.
Yeah, well, I never thought about shortcodes. And look, you didn't even get it in a regular podcast.
No, I didn't. But you know what? All the better, because the best should always be saved for last.
I've never actually thought about old shortcodes, whether they could be a security risk or not. So I don't know that one. It never occurred to me that they could be because they're just text.
They're just text, yes. However,
but they're looking for something specific.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good question. I wonder if there's any hackers out there that have done experiments on it because that could be a vulnerability to WordPress websites.
Well, that is something I'm going to fall down that rabbit hole tonight for sure.
Well, there you go. So yeah.
I stumped you. It only took 4 years.
Yeah, it only took 4 years to find a question I couldn't actually answer.
And this is like ages after I gave up stumping you, honestly.
Well, that's usually when you finally win is when you give up.
Woo! Okay. So my last question here. Is there an easy way to get rid of all the shortcodes, or do you have to painstakingly go through and delete them one by one? I kind of know the answer to this, but I also don't, because you might know of a different way than the painstaking way.
No, the painstaking way is the only certain way. There is a way you can semi-automate it, but it could create other problems in your site. If you're good at SQL scripts, you could run an SQL script to search and delete text blocks in your content. The problem is you'll get rid of the shortcode, but sometimes there might be stuff on either side of the shortcode or inside the shortcode that won't delete. You have to look at the shortcodes to see if there's a consistent block of text that can be automatically removed. Most of the time, the only true way to do it is painstakingly remove it one block at a time. Text at a time, and making sure you're just removing the shortcode. I mean, think back to that one site we did that was insane. And you had shortcode, then you had the title, and then you had the other half of the shortcode.
Yeah.
And if you weren't reading it carefully, you'd actually remove the title.
Yeah.
So it's like, it can be automated, but the automation is not 100% guaranteed.
Okay, so Henry wrote something out. I have to respond to it.
What's that?
The Minecraft movie trailer I thought was okay. And if you're a Minecraft fan, on YouTube, there's some old Minecraft videos that include Very Crazy Griefer, Mineworks, and several by Dan Bull, including Minecraft Creeper Rap, Minecraft Zombie Rap, Minecraft Nether Zombie Pigman Rap, and others. And oh boy, do I know about every single one of those.
Yes, I'm sure
Oh boy,
you
do I ever. My younger daughter had, she found the Creeper Rap when she was 4 on a tablet. I don't even know how she found it, but she found it.
Oh, the algorithm found it for her.
She actually, I think she found it in one of the comments in that was made in Minecraft, because she played Minecraft, and then she clicked the link and it took her there, and like she's been obsessing over Minecraft for 12 years now.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty popular game.
The reason why she was so angry is because one of the characters who they turned into a human, I guess he's really big and really popular. He doesn't change ever. He looks identical every single time. No matter where he is, no matter what's going on, he always looks identical. And the thing that upset her and so many other kids is that they entirely changed him. He was no longer the block figure. He was a large fella.
Yeah.
And that really, really upset her and a lot of other Minecraft people.
Yeah.
So it's just the fact that they became people, I think, is really what upset them, because it's no longer pixeled.
Yeah, no longer pixels.
Yeah.
All right, there's a question here from Hemdian. For old plugins that are getting abandoned, would it make sense to make a private fork so you can avoid getting caught by someone poisoning the well? Or would that be too much work? No, it makes sense. I've done it a couple of times. I've got about 4 plugins that I've forked. And they were abandoned, and I wanted to keep those plugins. So the coder I regularly hire to do these things and fix them, I gave them to him, had him fork them, had him clean them up, had him bring them up to date. And now I continue to use them, and I have him check them from time to time to see if they need updates. So yeah, it makes sense. If you can write it yourself, do it. If you can't and you use that plugin a lot, get it forked. And what you want to do is you want to have the auto update information removed from the plugin that plugin authors put in there for the WordPress plugin repository. So I mean, I'd done some of that myself in years past, but I didn't get that far into it, and I find it way easier and cheaper to hire someone, pay someone a few bucks to do it for me. So if you want contact with the developer I use, he's local in the Victoria area, and he's very, very good. He does all my coding work now, just to save me the grief and get it right.
Yeah, what takes him like a little bit of time takes you weeks. So
it takes me hours, and what takes him like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm happy to fork out the money because my time is more valuable in the places I'm good at, not in the places I'm not. It took me many years to figure that one out. Just because I can do it doesn't mean I should do it. So. All right, well, that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks a lot, Hemdian, for showing up. We always appreciate you. And for those else listening, well, thanks for showing up and having a listen. I think it's time for a little music to carry us on out of here.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill.
folks. That's all we got now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously, we just lost the satellite feed. That's